For this lesson, I need to open the sample file Annual Sales Summary 2 from your Sample Files folder. Sometimes you'll want to emphasize a specific data point in a series. For example, you might want to color a single column differently to its neighbors to emphasize some special attribute of the data point. Color alone cannot convey why the data point is special. You'll normally want to add a text box to the chart to qualify the reason for its different color. In this session, we'll imagine that the company is a hotel and that 2005 was the centenary year for a special event in the resort, leading to increased sales. To mark this, we'll color the 2005 bar red and add an annotation saying centenary year to the bar. The first thing I want to do is change the color of the 2005 bar to red. I click the 2005 bar once and notice that the entire data series is selected. I click the 2005 bar once more and this time only the 2005 bar selected. From the Chart Tools group on the ribbon, I select Format, Shape Fill, and let's go for this red color from the current theme. The 2005 bar is now colored red. The legend has also changed to give a further visual prompt that the red bar relates to 2005. Let's now add a text box above the red bar containing the text Centenary Year. So I click away from the chart and then back on the chart to select it, and then Chart Tools, Layout, Text Box to add a text box to the chart. I'm now going to click just above the red bar and type the text Centenary on the keyboard. Next, I want to move the cursor to a new line. To do that, I hold down the Shift key and press Enter on the keyboard, and then the text Year. The Shift-Enter key combination moves you to the next line in a text box. Let's now add a border and a fill to the text box. Make sure the text box is selected, and with the text box selected, you'll see the Drawing Tools context-sensitive menu on the ribbon. We'll choose Format, Shape Styles, and notice there's a Shape Styles gallery. Let's look at the entire gallery, and you can see all of the different ways it's possible to fill a text box. I think this subtle effect Accent 1 looks good, so I'll click it and notice that I've now filled my text box with exactly that effect. Let's now resize the text box so it's just the right size for the text within it. To do that, I hover over a sizing handle until I see a double-headed arrow cursor shape, and then click and drag to make the text box just the right size. Next, I want to move the text box to a better location. To do that, I hover over the border of the text box, but be very careful to hover over the border and not one of the sizing handles, because if you hover over a sizing handle, you'll see the double-headed arrow cursor shape, and I want to see this, the four-headed arrow cursor shape. When you see the four-headed arrow cursor shape, click and drag to move the text box to wherever you think looks best. Next, I want to add an arrow pointing from the text box to the 2005 bar. Now to do that, I want to activate the chart and not the text box. Notice that while the text box is activated, the situation now, the Drawing Tools context-sensitive menu is shown. But when I click the chart border to activate the chart, I see the Chart Tools context-sensitive menu options, and I want to choose Layout, and in the Insert group, Shapes, and I'll go for this, an arrow shape. I click the arrow shape, and now I want to click and drag from the text box to the red bar to draw an arrow. So starting in the text box, click and drag. When I release the mouse, I have an arrow. But it looks like it's quite a thin, washed out arrow. I'd like a nicer arrow than that, so again look in the Format tab under Drawing Tools, and in Shape Styles, let's bring up the entire gallery, and you can see all of the different line styles I can use for my arrow. I think this black line with a drop shadow looks quite nice. So I click, and I have my arrow pointing from the text box to the bar. It's worth mentioning that text boxes are more flexible than the built-in chart title element. Elements such as chart title and horizontal axis title appear to have sizing handles, but you can't in fact resize them. The only way to make them wider is to type in more text or change the font. Text boxes have no such restrictions. For this reason, you may sometimes find it's preferable to substitute a text box for an element such as a chart title element. Let's now save our work with a new name, Annual Sales Summary 3. I'll put it in my practice folder as usual. I click the Save button and we're done.